Hi everyone, welcome to Mindful Rest. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying the videos and you find them helpful, and share with your friends. So today we're going to be celebrating the Divine Feminine as it's International Women's Day, and we're going to work with this beautiful rose quartz here. So we're going to do some healing, some activation of the Divine Feminine in the empowered divine within us, as we need more than ever, we need to be empowered in this world, and for women to step forward into their power using their hara, their sacral energy, and to be able to express that from this center as well. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to spray some rose because it doesn't get much more feminine than rose, does it? So I hope you've got something nice around, otherwise just enjoy the beautiful scents of this rose spray in this bottle. So let's begin by grounding ourselves, which is really important. Sometimes our energy can be kind of up and out, or we might feel a bit discombobulated with what's been going on in ourselves and in our personal lives and with the greater collective consciousness as well. So let's ground ourselves, just imagining that my hands are on your shoulders and just feeling that weight pushing you gently down towards the earth, grounding your energy, grounding your body, and allowing your mass to sink down. Allow earth to take your full weight as you rest fully, just surrendering your body to the earth. And you can imagine strong roots growing down of any colour you like. It could be pink, white, purple, just growing down and down and down through your body, down to the earth and down to the centre of the earth's core. Wrap those roots tightly around a central stone or quartz, and know that all your energies are being grounded, and the earth's energies, you can invite those to come up into your system, into your body, to support you and your healing. So let's also begin now with the distance healing Reiki sign. Do it 3 times because I do. And see if you can feel that. Just relax and trust that everything that you need to let go of or heal or to invite into your system, just knowing that that will happen today. Work with the energies and get comfortable with surrendering that which no longer serves you in body, mind, emotion. So I'm going to start by concentrating. Let's concentrate on the heart center, I think, to begin with. To activate the heart, you can imagine the center of your consciousness is just dropping down from your head, which is where we usually feel it. We think we feel like we're the thinker and the doer, which is usually residing in your mind, and we can allow that to drop down. So we come into the body, and to help you to do that, you can imagine that you're breathing from the center of your chest. So bring that awareness down to the center of your chest. And let's activate that heart center for you, the chakra. So let's set the intention now to just release from your system, on the level of the body, the mind and the emotions, anything that doesn't serve your highest good and your highest potential, anything from the past which is still being carried around like old baggage that needs releasing now, so we can update our systems, update our coping strategies, and update our beliefs. So removing those from you now. Knowing you don't have to carry anything that you don't need and you don't want. Past hurts, pain from this life, previous lives, or from your ancestors, or from experiences that have hurt you and caused you to close your heart. This interferes with accessing and fully engaging with the flow of life, which makes it really hard to bring into your life what you really most want. Let's get rid of all of that for you. Allow your body to shake or to cry. However releasing looks in your system, that's okay. If we uncover the bright light that's already inside you, it's like the sun behind the clouds. So just part the clouds, remove the clouds, and then what's left is already a radiant, beautiful sun that's there. It's just being covered up, and it's covered up by that which you are not, but that we sometimes mistake ourselves to be. Especially if we are always in our head, we just engage with our thoughts, usually negative ones that perpetuate themselves, but also we identify with those thoughts. We believe that they are us. If we think to ourselves, I'm a bad person, and if we believe that thought, then, well, you're not going to feel great about yourself. Even in psychology, they know this. CBT, what you think affects your emotions. It's just common sense, isn't it? But also, it's deeper than just a belief. It's like our identity. We've mistaken ourselves for thought, the identity that our mind decides that we are, and it's not true. Let's call upon now our rose quartz. It's good to activate that heart center. See if we can use the Reiki energy and the crystal together to impart some of the beautiful, gentle energies of compassion and love, acceptance, patience from the crystal, and also the beautiful energies from the creator, from source, that flows through the meridians and out on my hands and fingertips, and actually everyone can access. I'm going to give you a Seiheki piece. Seiheki. For tranquility in that heart center, now that we've released some of those painful layers, those wounded layers. We all carry wounds there. As we all go through, it's not the easiest thing in the world, is it, to be a human, to be in relationship with others. Sometimes it's painful, even when others don't mean to hurt us, or especially when they do. It's extremely painful. We can close our hearts to protect ourselves. We've got lots of protectors. And if you have protectors that you can identify, like for example anger or obsessive tendencies or withdrawing, masking, putting on a brave front, or people pleasing, any of these are protectors. There's lots and lots of protectors. You might be able to identify some within yourself. Some of the protectors are managing. So, for example, if we have a protector where we drink alcohol to protect ourselves, we could either have that as a manager, so it's drinking every day to numb ourselves out, to keep us from feeling our more vulnerable emotions. And those vulnerable emotions can be anything. It could be pain, it could be humiliation, it could be grief, sorrow, sadness. So if alcohol was used as a manager, it would be kind of drinking every day to keep those feelings at bay, to numb us out, and to distance ourselves from the raw intensity of those emotions. And then if it was used as a firefighter, it would be like, so some of those emotions start to bubble up, the sadness may start to bubble up, you might be triggered, feelings of pain or hurt come up to the surface, and then suddenly we drink because we're trying to firefight that emotion away. So trying to protect ourselves from feeling those vulnerable emotions. Mostly, well, we can do it both consciously and unconsciously. So take a look at IFS, Internal Family Systems, if this sounds like something that you can relate to or that you'd be interested in learning more about. And you can look at your different protectors. You have, you can identify them, map them out. It's really interesting, and everyone has them, so it's a great model. And it really, if you're quite analytical or quite visual, it's a great tool to use, because I'm quite a visual person and it makes a lot of sense to me. And they are in there, you know, those parts of you, the exiles, the wounded parts, normally younger, and then the protectors to come in and protect you from feeling those vulnerable emotions. They're definitely there in the system, or people call them defences or something like that. but I like to kind of personify them because then I can talk to them, discover and approach them with curiosity and respect, because those protectors are what got you through a certain period of your time when it wasn't possible. You didn't have the support to process difficult emotions or difficult events in your life. That wasn't, for some reason, available to you at the time when they happened. So the protectors came in, were developed for the system to do its best to support you at that time. You know. Start by healing ourselves, start by doing the work ourselves, then we've got more of a chance, haven't we, then, to influence the whole world and to shine our light that we discover in our heart center, in our being, to shine that out to the world so others can begin to recognize their own true nature, their heart-centered, unconditional, loving self. But first we need to realize that we are lovable, and that's not just as a belief, but actually because we have discovered something in ourselves which is inherently loving, lovable, good, and peaceful, ultimately. And that's true happiness, isn't it? Peace that is unshakable and is irrespective of what's happening in the flow of life. It's a ground that keeps you stable, keeps you solid, is your anchor. And it's only ever to be found here in the present moment, which is where your mind never likes to be, right? Your mind always wants to be somewhere else. Okay. So, hopefully you're feeling a lot more peaceful, a lot calmer. Some of those wounds may have been released or at least brought to the surface, and don't worry if you feel like you're a bit tearful, because it's just that these layers of conditioning and wounds are very, very deep in the body even. As we obviously know now that, as Bessel van der Kolk says, but the body keeps the score. So any traumas, wounding, or I find just general, doesn't even need to be trauma, but just general emotions are stored in the body and in the nervous system. So when they start to come to the surface, when the place is safe, the environment is safe, or you've come to a certain capacity to witness without getting completely overwhelmed by your emotions, or there's just something in you is ready. And for me it was like I had 15 years of meditation meant that I was able to relate to my suffering more easily, so I wasn't like this with it. I could be like that. It didn't mean I didn't feel the pain. I felt complete, full, encompassing pain, but it didn't, there was always a part of me which was really here in the heart center that was always okay. And so that's what I would wish for you, is to find that center for yourself so that you can start to process these emotions and these wounds. They have to be, at some point they will come up. So better to be prepared and be able to be like this than then believe you are that absolute abject pain or terror or sadness or grief or whatever it is that's coming up. And I don't mean that you are disconnected or dissociated, because dissociation's another protector, right? But you do not mistake yourself for that emotion. You do not mistake yourself for your thoughts either. And then it's different. It's like, it can just run through like, it's just energy. It just doesn't even, sometimes you don't even know what it is. It's just pure energy. So it can be quite impersonal. But yeah, it doesn't mean that it's not painful. It is painful. It's just you don't actually necessarily have to suffer with the processing of that emotion. Maybe that doesn't make sense. There's only some bits of advice I could give, I suppose, that I know helped me, but meditate every day, an awareness practice, self-inquire, if you understand what that is, or you can go find it out, self-inquiry, develop some kind of awareness practice every day, because that's what becomes, you practice it, and then at some point through really grace, it then it's like a switch flips, and then it becomes automatic. It becomes, that's the state you're in all the time, and it's effortless. But it's the practicing. It's like, it's just like, I don't know, learning anything. It's hard to say, it's hard to put it into words, isn't it? But anyway, speaking from experience, there was a lot of practicing, developing that awareness. It became much easier to process things when I was out of my head and interconnected with my beingness aspect of myself, my true nature. Then healing was much more, much less traumatic, actually, the healing process. And also, yeah, so that, and also meditating on the heart center, meditating on, just focus your awareness on the center of your chest. You'll start to, over time, recognize this feeling of joy or happiness, peace, love. I guess it has different qualities, but, and then it's always, and then at some point you realize then it's always there, and it's always recognizable, especially when you have the awareness aspect as well, because you're not so distracted by the thoughts or believing those thoughts or identifying with the thoughts. You can then recognize the beingness aspect in yourself much more on a continuous basis. But yeah, it takes, depending on your makeup and your experiences and conditioning, can take, you know, years. Wow, that didn't really, I don't know if that's helpful on an International Women's Day or not. So let's give you a card to finish from this pack, which is the Archetype Cards by Carolyn Myss. I love these ones, I use them a lot. There's two aspects to them, the light attribute and the shadow attribute. I'm just going to randomly pick. I'll give you a couple, I think, today. So I'm literally just randomly putting them out. I'm going to pick one, okay. This one's the Fool card. So the light attribute, if you can see it, I'm just going to turn it around so I can see. Fearlessly revealing emotion. Fearlessly revealing emotion. So you're going to need bravery, I suppose, aren't you? To go to the depths of your being, go to the depths of your conditioning, of your wounds. That does take bravery, it does take courage to do that. And it says helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. We definitely need some humour on this journey of life, don't we? And it connects us to our being. When we laugh and we feel that joy, we already connect into that heart center. But this specifically talks about helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. And I'm just thinking of our situations in the world. We always, with our certain leaders, we can always find something that's amusing, can't we? Like, we can always find something to take the edge off reality. There's something grounding in that. I don't know if you've ever been with somebody, like a friend or whatever, who can use dark humour, something really awful could happen, and sometimes people can just bring a little bit of humour to the situation if it's appropriate, and we can see it changes your perspective. You can see it slightly differently, and of course it can be a protector. Humour protects people, doesn't it? And what the dark side of this is the shadow attribute, if you can see it. It's using humour to wound rather than liberate, and denial of your emotional truth. So, denial of our emotional truth, well, that's what we all do. To be honest, we all do that. That's why we repress and suppress, and everyone does that at some point. If you meditate long enough, everything you've repressed will come out at some point. It does have an intelligence, so it will come out in sort of spirals, a little bit here, a little bit there, so we can cope with it. Sometimes there are really intense periods. Humour. I had a friend who passed away actually, but he would always use humour, and it makes me laugh now when I remember some of the things he used to do, in class. He'd hand you a bit of paper, but he wouldn't be handing it to you directly. He'd be snatching it away before you could grab it properly. He was so funny and so inspirational, but also so kind with it. And using humour to support people, not to avoid or hurt or harm anyone. I know I said I'm going to gift you 2 cards, but I'm running out of space on my memory card, so I don't want this to end. Or do we have time? No, let's finish there. You women are amazing. I have so much respect for women, even more so through experiences I've had. And we've connected so much to our emotions. We just have to make sure that we don't become overwhelmed by those emotions, that we will always be healing. This is our journey. This is what we're here to do. It's a natural part of life. But there are things you can do to stop that complete, utter overwhelm. So look after yourself, lots of self-care. Please don't burn out. Make sure you're taking lots of breaks, that you're looking after yourself, you're pampering yourself when you need to, giving yourself those moments to regroup, regather your energy. You're already Superwoman. Superwomen need breaks too. So much love to you, and I hope to see you soon. Please like and subscribe.